Hey there, beloved Ascension Pioneers. What a beautiful day it is here. We're going to have a sunny week actually. So I was just posting on Facebook that I'm going to be more away this week. Just Spirit guiding me to be retreating because, you know, the weather like this here in the mountains is a treat. And it means you just need to go. You need to follow that guidance. But before anything like that takes place, I want to record a video about something really important that's been coming up a lot recently. It's not just because of the equinox, although it is also, because everything is connected. But there's this awareness coming through, and there's things that were coming up to the surface to be revealed, and they were kind of being presented to me in a way that I could address them. Because whenever I receive something and other people are like posting things, and are showing them to me, it's like I'm not a spokesperson for anybody, although people sometimes think of me this way. I get a lot of emails, people saying, they consider me like their role model and inspirational teacher, whatever. But I don't want to do that. The only thing I'm here for is to birth the seeds of awareness. As you might have seen in my previous video about the crystal, the master crystal that I have received in my guardianship, it was programmed for awareness, the higher awareness of the higher multidimensional living. But the thing is that not a lot of people are there yet. It's like what I'm noticing is something I'll be talking about today. But awareness is something that without it, we just can't move further. What happens on the path of ascension is like people come to a certain destination, they come to a certain point, and they say, okay, I'll stop here. This is as much as I go in my awakening and stop. But that's really not awakening. It is opening up to some sort of level, but true awakening is awakening to the soul and to the divinity that runs through spirit of all life, and then seeing everything through that spirit. It's kind of like, let me give you this example. There's many people doing readings and spiritual guidance and whatnot. But people don't understand, when I say to people, when I'm tuning into your energy, I'm not tuning into you directly, like sensing you. I'm going straight to spirit. There's a connection through the higher selves happening, and then through the soul connecting, then back to the other person. So it goes spirit, connection, down to the other person and back. It doesn't go, I'm feeling your energy like here, physically. That's where a lot of people do mistakes here, and they think that higher guidance comes this way, but it doesn't. So what I'll be talking about today will be something in the note of what I received through the equinox message, which was, it is shared on my Facebook wall. Go check that out if you're interested. It's that from this point on, those who are really following the path of ascension, that's why I'm getting guidance and continuous guidance that I'm going to be working specifically with people from here on, as time unfolds, who are really devoted to this path, because I see there's a lot of people who don't get the seriousness of this. It's not like it's serious, like, you're in school, you can't play now. Not in that way. But they're really not really deciding for it. They're saying, okay, maybe I'm going to devote 50% of it, but then 50% I'm going to, lag behind, and I'm not going to really do the work. Like, it's not just about guidance, It's not about consuming yourself with all the materials and videos from other people who are sharing whatnot. So many different things and so many different types of awareness here on Earth still. But the path of ascension is you choosing to be the highest initiate. To be the initiate into the highest. That's what I'm talking about in this videos. And don't get me wrong, people sometimes say, oh, thank you for sharing your journey. I'm not just sharing my journey, like I said in my past videos, what I'm wearing, what I'm experiencing, like it's a personality experience. It's spirit guidance, and it's planting the seed of awareness. That's what I'm doing here on this planet, and I'm coming more and more into my power. And now with this crystal coming in my hands, it's like a new chapter of my life began. I mean, this crystal didn't even want to be seen by most people. I was just intuitively guided to cover it up. I felt like, wow, what am I doing? I'm usually a very open, outgoing person. Outgoing, I meant, but it was just, the crystal has a will in its own, and it's a very sacred one, and he wants to be treated this way. And with this knowing comes, with great power comes great responsibility. So this is what we're learning now. And this part of our journey, those who are really devoted to this path, those of you who are really devoted to this path. And that means when I'm guiding, I'm not doing the work for you. I'm just paving the way and I'm showing the examples, the seeds of new life, the seeds of awareness that we're planting, that I cannot do the work for you. It's like some people think, if I'm going to have an Ascension group, it's going to be all for free. I'm going to do all the work for you. You're just going to be reading, not doing anything. It's not how this works. Ascension is serious downtime. It's you evolving. It's you expanding and you reaching higher, and you want this because it's your new chapter. It's what your soul has chosen and you want it, and you got to do the work. And I'm going to be talking about in this video what really is a part of this work. It's discernment. It's integrity. It's seeing through the eyes of the soul. Not a lot of people are still there yet. What I'm seeing online, what's happening, this is not a judgment call, but what I'm seeing is people are not looking what's happening through the eyes of the soul. They're not sensing the energy. Let me just say this. When you see a certain video or whatever you're looking at, and you're saying, okay, I'm filling up myself with this content, you gotta know that just because someone says, oh, they're talking about ascension, or they're talking about, somebody mentions galactics, whatever they're mentioning, that doesn't necessarily mean that this is really coming from the highest space, from the highest dimensional energy, because you gotta tune into the energy of what they're saying, what they're vibrating out. People might say many things and might seem very appealing to your mind, and your ego goes, ooh, that sounds fancy. Or certain people who charge huge amounts of money for certain things that you might seem, just because it's expensive, it must be worthy. It's not always the case. Feel the energy, maybe. I'm not saying it's because it's expensive, it's bad. I'm just saying that you gotta tune into the energy. Okay, I'll give you an example of what's been happening, that's been coming through as the awareness of this full moon, which was really about higher discernment, higher knowing, higher wisdom. It was expanding. So I was getting a lot of initiations into that. So a lot of things were coming into my awareness, and I was asking myself, okay, why are they coming here? It's not my thing. And Spirit always shows me, yes, it is. You got to explore it, and you got to talk about it. It's like, okay, let me see. And I don't really have to explore it. I just look at the thing, and it's so obvious to me what's going on. So what happened was I received something, guided me, to see videos of certain people that people were posting. And there was this man, it's not even important who, what, it's not about, again, it's not about who, the where, the what, it's about the energy. It's about us becoming higher initiates, being discerning, being in integrity, being in alignment, looking through the soul, sensing, and not just falling for the mind traps. Like, ooh, this guy or this person's mentioning ascension, must be good. Or they're mentioning galactics. Just because we're all galactics, we're all coming from the same galaxy, doesn't mean that that's consciousness coming from the realms of illuminated truth. Doesn't mean they're coming from oneness, from a space of divine love. Don't fall for it, be discerning. But it's still happening. Why? Because I'm seeing it happening right in front of my eyes. And it's people who are also watching me. And they're following me. I'm seeing what they're commenting. And they're also following these people. They're not even seeing who they are. It's not about them. It's the energy that's flowing through them. So what happened was, there was this person. And the moment I saw that, I was like, what? What's that energy working through that person? It's really not within neutrality of divine love. It was some lower energies working through. And then I saw that the person who I held in the highest light of integrity, and I thought it was a very awake and aware person, they were reposting that. They were saying, well, this person had the same experience as me. So Spirit was showing me that there's certain individuals who are clinging on. Well, I also had a discussion with one of my best friends about this, who I hold in my heart as one of the most aware people here on planet Earth at this time. So what was happening is, I wanted to know why. I wanted to know why this person cannot see. Because it was so obvious. Even my mom, she's not so discerning and so aware, but she's like very pure in her heart, and even she saw it. It's like the person didn't radiate any awareness. No light, no truth, nothing coming from that space. We're just sharing about some experiences that, let's face it, we can all have many experiences, but it doesn't mean it's going to come straight from the light of truth. It's going to come from source. We exist within many realms, but when you're choosing ascension, you're walking through those energies. You're walking into your divinity. You're not walking into astral realms. You're not dealing with that anymore. But if you're engaging in that, you're still going to be a part of it. So let me remind you about this. If you're reposting something, it will be your integrity. You'll be aligning with that. What you share, you empower. What you put out, you empower. So I'm thinking, okay, if this person is so aware and they can see that, even Joshua was teaching us, was teaching humanity at that time. He was not the only master who spoke of this. That only the purity opens the key to the Father, he was saying. That meant the heavenly realms, the knowing of Source, the wisdom of Source, the power, love of Source. And he was talking about that when you're pure, you're sensing through your soul, you're tuning into people's spirit, you just see through them transparently. You sense the energy that's flowing through. You will sense it's love, it's fear, it's what is that? You will know. Because you're initiated into that knowing, because you've mastered yourself into that space. What I'm seeing is that some people just are not discerning. It's not my job to ask them to be discerning. It's not my job to do work for anybody else. I can only mention what's happening. And, sometimes people are right on the verge. They're engaging in the higher realms, but also in, not letting go of these lower realms. It's not like lower means bad. It just means different. But when you walk the path of ascension, you don't want that anymore because you don't choose it. But anything that still you engage in that is coming from that space of awareness, you're still feeding. It still doesn't allow you to fully elevate. It's how it is. These are natural laws of energy and how it operates, everything. So if you're still supporting that, even if it's just 1%, you're still not letting that go. You're still playing within that. You're still engaging in either duality or judgment or people who really are not sharing within truth. Feel the vibration, what they vibrate. Don't listen to the words they're saying. Sense with all your being, how does that person look? It's not about the person, it's the energy coming through them. Is that energy manipulating you in any form? Is it really speaking from a place of awareness, compassion, showing you the way to the highest? Or is it just speaking about some things that might seem very, wow, ravishing, but they don't have any content? They feel empty when you connect with your heart. I can create a channel right now and I can say, oh gosh, I feel these energies, they're flying with me, I see this light, I'm channeling this entity, whatever. And there's a bunch of people, and maybe my video will even go viral in one night or sooner. And people will say, wow, this girl's channeling this and that. Ooh, let's watch that. It sounds interesting to listen to all this ascension, and you have some growth to do that way. Let's go with that way. It sounds more interesting and fun. If you're choosing that, that's fine. I'm not judging it. I'm just saying that this is not what we were deciding for, those of us on this path. And if you're looking what I'm saying with the heart, not the mind, then you will know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about anybody's minds. I'm not addressing people's minds. I always said I want to talk to people's hearts and make them know about awareness, and this is the only way to grow and expand the consciousness of who you are and move beyond those realms and move into the elevated realms, the higher essence, the refined energy levels where you're becoming your master. So I've been seeing this and I just couldn't believe. So I was asking myself, okay, Spirit, then why this person cannot see it if they're so aware? They're still supporting it by sharing it, and also many others. How come they cannot see it if they're so much in their Christed light? Because the Christed light, when you're in Christed heart, you know. It's like when you see something or someone, you see certain energy, you see the pattern of that energy. It's so obvious to you. It's not the gift that everybody has at this time because they've not yet opened and activated themselves to that space of awareness where they can really feel with their hearts. That's what's still happening. Mirrors only exist as long as we need them to show us something. It's how it is. So Spirit has shared with me that when you still have a certain filter through which you function, might be some sort of ego filter or something you don't want to release, and you're always going to get that mirror back. So obviously that person who was not sharing with them the truth was a mirror for that other person who I thought, oh my gosh, how come they cannot see it, right? It's like black and white. It's like so simple, so obvious. And when you're filter free, you're like pure, and you really exist in Christ consciousness. That is what it is. It's not mental energy. It's not about discussing it. Oh yeah, we're moving in this Christ consciousness. It's not just a wishful thinking, and you don't just go there in this state of awareness by intent. You got to really activate the energy centers within you. You got to live that way. You become the initiate. You become that light. You don't talk about it, and you don't say, wow, I'm having fantastic experiences, what I don't know which sorts of light, and it feels woo-ha, you know. It's not what it's all about, because if I'm just sharing, you know, how wow, boom, bam, I'm feeling in my body, and is that really giving you anything of it? Do I give any substance with it? Do I share anything beneficial? Do I share with an awareness, or I'm just sharing certain sensations I've been feeling? That's for me. So really be observant. What is the energy telling you? Either video, writing, whatever it is. Like I said, it's not about the person, but what is the energy telling you? Is it really freeing you? Is it really empowering you? Or is it trying to manipulate you? Through any means, it's still happening. Like I said in my equinox message, the message was clear. The veil still exists for those who engage in that. The veils only dissolve when you consciously work through and come on another level of existence, when you really see everything with the eyes of neutrality, and the gift of divine sight will be given to you because you have come to that level of self-mastery, and you see through everything. Nothing can be hidden from you. That's what Christ consciousness really means. And we can no longer just talk about it and say, oh yeah, Christ the light, whatever. We need to walk through it, and walking through it means you just know. It's just, and then you share that knowingness, and then you use it for service. You don't use it to talk about some sort of fanatic experiences you had. We really don't help people to move further on their journey, right? Because then, you know what I'm noticing? That people who share this way, they only make people think bad of themselves, because they say, oh gosh, I don't have any of those fanatic experiences. Well, I don't know which energy is working through me and these fantastic whatever they're sensing. Well, thank God you don't, you know? Because how Spirit shows me this is I'm asking Spirit, well, what are they really tuning into? And Spirit shares with me so simple, like, yeah, you know, but that everything is holographic in nature. All the structure, so they're tuning into the holographic energy of the recreated essence of that. So not the true essence, like for example of a certain archangel or an energy of a being that really resides within the law of oneness, where all truth is one, where there's only benevolence and purity. So I'm thinking, obviously, you know? And it's not about those people, because they have obviously chosen this path. But you, beloved initiate, you know, you are on the path of being discerning, of activating that discernment within you. And this equinox has really activated into that energy. And it's just moving further. And I'm still seeing people engaging in that. And like I said, I was discussing this with my sister of light, who's really always talking to me through awareness. And she said, well, you know, sometimes it feels like we're alone in this space and we're just holding hands, maybe just a few of us. And we can walk the journey for others, you know, we can show them the way. But even if nobody else makes the threshold, you know, makes it through it, it's fine, because everything is always how it needs to be. You can't force awareness upon someone. It needs to come through within. But it's happening naturally to those who are choosing. And still, there's others who are right on the verge. Maybe just need a few more veils to unlift. And it will become obvious, but they need to be ready to let that go. Because when we just, like the Sister of Light has shared with me, she said, you know, I sometimes witness some people who are just frantically sharing everything, you know, just reposting everything they see. They don't even read it, or they don't even how can you, if you're really working on your personal ascension journey, how can you look at all the videos, read all the writings? That's really not ascension. That's mental ascension. You got to do the work. You got to connect with Spirit from within. This is what I'm doing daily. And then you got to be of service and, you know, pass it forward, move the energy. And it's just really funny, because I see this is still happening on a level, but like I said, it's people who are still engaging in that. It's the souls who are choosing that. But I'm just telling you that if you have chosen this path, you need to let it go. It's old. It's really old, and you'll be feeling it. If there's something still there within you, you'll just be feeling it. It no longer draws you. You know, for example, we might have identified with a certain person, and we held them so high up, you know, on the pedestal, and we thought, wow, the person is really aware, I'm going to follow them. Or, you know, I don't even watch videos anymore, to be honest. Even now, stop everything. And the thing is that what we like to do is we think of someone as a certain mirror. But mirrors will also show us our shadow, where we still hold it. We need to know that, because a lot of times people say, oh, I want to experience everything as a confirmation, and and everything's so much within the light. But people who are too much into the light, they get blinded because they forget about love. There's really neutral. So what they do is they're so much into the positive light, that they forget that they cannot embrace the shadow. And the path of ascension begins with embracing the shadow. And it's not a scary place. It's a beautiful place. Within the seas of the shadow, awareness grows. It's through these initiations that you grow and evolve, and through the experiences. For example, you come across a certain energy that feels very dense, and by you experiencing it, you already recognize it, then you know how it feels. That's why when you see, for example, a certain video with somebody sharing not through awareness at all, and you just know it because you understand the energy, you recognize an energy pattern. It's like, no, it's just not coming from a space that I know is the space of the highest, of the light of truth. Not the fake light, the new agey light, but the light of truth. So this is what's happening now, and the equinox kind of made this division of worlds, not physically. Well, you can see it, but it's really shifting. I feel like the path of ascension has really been chosen now. That's why I see when this is still happening within certain individuals, it means they have chosen this. This is where they are. This is where they're deciding to stay. And nobody's rescuing anyone, because it's so divine. It's natural that no soul can have a journey that is like. It cannot be compared. We can influence one another through awareness, but that's it on this journey. And sometimes, like my sister of light has exposed to me, it's like people are afraid to let go, because then they no longer feel like a part of the group. They want to have certain, comparisons and experiences, and, they still need that validation. But why? Spirit doesn't need validation. When I receive something direct from source, I don't need validation. Yesterday my friend brought a magazine to my home. She just dropped by. And there was this article about certain mud, the river that we have here, that now they discover it's sacred, and wow, it's going to be like a new pilgrimage place or whatever. And I'm thinking, but I was there a few weeks ago, and I told you guys it was a sacred water, and it's the spring of the waters there. And this is where I live, these mountains. This is the high portal. This is where life begins here, with all the water and the springs and everything. And they've just been discovering hot water and, saying how this is this and that. But I didn't need proof. When Spirit said to me, this is a sacred point. The water is sacred here because of the way it's created. It's like an entry point. It's where all light enters here. And it's like I didn't need confirmation or proof. And then Spirit brings it to me like 2 weeks later. Oh my God, it's a magazine. But it's not the mud that's sacred, it's the water, because it's the energy. The water transmits the energy through the portals. And when you are fully in your awareness, when you're fully in your space, you don't need to belong. You don't need to be compared. You don't need others because you'll be still holding on to that energy level. It's like when you want to be a part of the group or comparing yourself, you're really not coming from a space of awareness, because the path of ascension will always be not a lonely one, but it will be a solitary one, because in the end, it's you and your spirit. You are working. You're expanding. It's you. You might share the journey. It's not about comparing. It's like I see people are still not fully in their power, and they're not going to be until they do that. That's why they don't see these mirrors. They can see them because they still have that filter to reflect them. And when you're filter free, imagine the state. It's state of pure being. Awareness is a state of pure being. You have no filters. All comes to you. You see, you know, you sense, you feel, you breathe one with all life and creation. That's how it really is on this path. It is so simple. So set yourself free of needing to belong, holding on to a certain group, to repost everything you just so fanatically encounter. It's not about the mental part of this equation, about what is there. It's about the substance. It's about the depth. Remember, I've been talking about this before. And just because someone might have like thousands and thousands of viewers on YouTube doesn't mean they share truth. Because the truth doesn't give people answers. Because giving you direct answers is manipulating you. It doesn't talk in a sense to berate others, or to talk in a sense that's very primitive. Awareness doesn't speak that way. Spirit doesn't speak that way when it speaks to an individual that is in Christ, the consciousness, that it's in unity. It doesn't speak that way. Listen with your heart. Let yourself become the highest initiate of the light of truth. And that's who you are. That's what you decided for. So this is the equinox message that was really coming through at this time. What Spirit has been showing me is that souls have chosen. from now on, it's just working towards higher and higher expansion. And this is what we're going to be focusing on from here on. So that's really great and brings me much pleasure. I hope I'm going to be working with some really amazing individuals along the way. Like I said, the details are still not fully coming through, and you need to trust, even you, because I see when I do readings, people are shifting a lot. Sometimes the purpose is going to be like the hangman principle, you know, but you got to embrace it, because in between, when you're waiting, you're nesting. You're just holding the space for new to be revealed to you. It takes time sometimes to integrate, but this is what we're doing right now. We're just holding the space for the new to show itself. So I'm wishing you so much awareness. Like I said, my crystal was programmed for that. You can tune into it at any time you want. Just feel it with your heart. And the group that I'm creating, it's not a group of people who need to compare. It's a group of people who are each sovereign free beings, and all they do is connect with love. You know, they're connected through the love, the Christ at heart. They're not connected with anything lower, anything denser. They're not trying to compare. They're not trying to, you know, say, oh, I had this amazing, awesome experience. Wow, you know. They don't need that. That's for them. They share about the messages that come with these experiences. So this is the kind of group that I feel is important to establish, the conscious group. You know, not the new age groups that really push you away from your uniqueness. Don't dissolve into a space when you forget who you are. Dissolve into your pure being, into your divine remembrance. This is what this path is all about. So, beloved ones, take care. I'm going to be absorbing the sun this week a lot, meditating a bit, going for a run to the mountains as well. And I'll see you when it's divine timing, when the spirit calls. Until next time. Bye. Hey there, beloved ones. I just want to show you that you won't think that I'm just talking and imagining. There is this magnificence that my village holds, because there are clouds there and there are clouds there, you know, towards that region, but we have the sunny sky, we have the sun. The mountains are also clouded up today. You can't see them. They're behind there. And you won't believe it. It's such a huge portal of light here. It's just, that's the hill that I was recording from. Remember, I was standing there with the animals, with the farms, and this is where I envision for the future, something to happen. We don't know when, and this is also that region. Gosh. Look at this. What they just said that I'm very cute, so that's very appealing. But I really wanted to show you this beauty that I'm noticing, what an amazing portal of light it is here. It's all cloudy, but right in the circle where I am, it's light. It's love.